Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth pregame.
No debate, cause it's off. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth.
Love to see this team add another receiver, whether that's trade or free agency.
That's okay. Pittsburgh's the AARP retirement home.
There's a bunt record. That person's never going to have to worry about that thing ever getting broken.
I hate analytics. I think it's ruined the game I grew up loving.
I will do unspeakable things for the Giants to win this rule.
Oh, pause.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NFL Draft 2026. Draft's less than an hour away. We're doing the pre-show as we've done for the past 5 years for Belly of Sports. I am just more than happy to be back doing this with the boys. Just the three of us today, nothing crazy. Obviously, Belly Up will be going live with our draft coverage at 8 o'clock. You'll see all of us there. Of course, I'm all decked out as well. My Eagles gear as well as Matt. His Jets gear, Nate will be hiding until his Giants come up twice. So we'll have a good time tonight. It's going to be a good, fun time. I had a theory today about the Patriots, A.J. Brown, and this whole thing, right? So first of all, I'll bring in my co-host, Matt. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. This is like NFL Christmas for me, so I love the draft every year. I'm looking forward to tonight. I am very excited. Shout out to our first comment from 3:18 p.m. Who could it be? Could be me, allegedly. Maybe not. But shout out to John Cena for life, 1995.
Gee, I wonder who that is.
Could be anybody. Anyways, yeah, this Diana Rossini stuff has been just off the rails today. Photos
listen,
2020.
I had suspicions. All right, like this woman's talked about how she thinks her husband is for years. Dude, I'm her husband. I've been gone for a year, and he's just sitting there laughing his ass off, like your career's over. Listen, I'm not going to comment about their personal lives. It's not my problem. All right. I think it's sketchy that the NFL's not going to investigate anything when there's clearly evidence of foul play and like clearly evidence of like conflict of interest. But whatever. I'm not a journalist. Oh wait, but it's okay. Here's my theory. Because the Philadelphia Eagles, like everyone's like, oh, Eagles and Patriots trade's imminent. Why would you trade with the team who went out of their way to sabotage its trade value as an A.J. Brown for this trade? Why would you still give them the deal at the end of the day after all that's come out? So indulge me if I'm real, because Howie Roseman is this petty. I guarantee there's some money trail that leads back to somebody in the Eagles organization having those photos of Rossini and Vrabel. I would put money on that. How much do you want to bet? Howie Roseman saw this, and A.J. Brown saw this, and are both like, you want to team up one more time and screw him over? That's how I'd be. I'm petty. Philadelphia keeps A.J. Brown for one more year because after next year, Matt, his cap hits like less than $8 million. Or it might be zero. Nate can probably find that out for us. So I know it's less than $16 million, which I don't want to pay AJ. I know the Eagles want to pay AJ. I'd rather have him on the team. Because one more ride with AJ, who knows? That team's low. Our team's good enough. We maybe get a Caleb Downs or a Ruben Bay in the draft. See what happens. But here's my thinking, right? Like it makes no. Also, AJ Brown said nothing but all season how he wants to stay in Philadelphia. But everyone's just kind of letting that one sail by, right? What if Philadelphia's not going to trade AJ Brown on June 1st? And they're just setting up New England to fail because they're petty. That's my theory. That's what because listen, what New England did was scummy. What Mike Vrabel did and Diana Rossini did was very scummy. I have to root for the Patriots because obviously the woman I love and her family, they all are Patriots fans. I get that. Loyalty runs deep. Am I going to be happy when they don't get A.J. Brown and they're sitting there with no one number one receiver? You betcha. I think that's what Howie's got in store. To me, it makes – I mean, listen, I could be completely pulling straws here, and they've already got a trade ready to go, and I could just question another thing. Because in the pros and cons – me and my girl, and I know, Matt, you've done this before, and a lot of people do this. When we have to do things, we have to figure out decisions, right? We do pros and cons. Me and Kate were doing it last night with something with, like, rearranging furniture in the place. I've done it for taking a job or not, right? But here, let's go through the pros and cons of Philadelphia and A.J. Brown trading him to New England, right? Pro, you stop the A.J. Brown drama in the media, right? But that's gone anyway because Diana Rossini is unemployed. I am currently technically making more money than her right now, which makes me so happy. So that's it, right? But what else? Oh, Devontae Smith becomes your number one receiver. That's great for Devontae, but you lose. He's going to get double covered now. Because I'm sorry, Hollywood Brown, Wicks, and the rest of these guys aren't good receivers. None of them are A.J. Brown's level. All right, let's look at the cons. You lose our number one receiver we've had in franchise history. You lose a guy who's going to take single coverage, make single coverage for every other weapon for offense. You lose your best, your all-time leader in consecutive yards with 1,000 yards. You lose a locker room glue guy. You lose a top 5 receiver in the league. And you lose $16 million. That's just the first 5 I can think of. There's like 10 more. Somebody explain to me how this makes sense. Because he's not asking to be traded. We've proven those rumors are false. To the Philadelphia fans who are asking, are ready to send him goodbye, I hope to God you're wrong. Because if we lose A.J. Brown, and when our team eventually is a first-round exit, I will demand you guys become Cowboys fans. Because you clearly are, or Patriots fans. You are not Eagles fans. Because if you had any brain cells in your effing body, you'd realize how stupid this whole thing is. And what about Terrell Owens? He's not T.O. Stop it. T.O. legit didn't even want to leave Philadelphia either. McNabb was the problem, clearly. But, we clearly latch on to the wrong players. Carson Wentz, Nick Foles. Here's the problem. And I'm going to just say it right now. Philadelphia loses A.J. Brown. They go from a Super Bowl contender to a playoff contender. They drop a level automatically. Truth hurts. I love Devontae Smith. He's a top 15 receiver in this league. There's no question in my mind. Is he top 5? No. Is A.J. Brown? Yes. Is the difference between them not that far? Also yes. But the difference between 15 and 5 and 5 and 15 is a big difference. I'm telling you right now, I love this Eagles team. I love Philadelphia. I love the fan base. I'm telling you right now, this fan base needs to shut the F up, sit down, enjoy the draft, get off Twitter. Half these Eagles fan pages, I want to scream at them. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. You are letting these slime balls like Rossini win. You are letting New England win by you idiots trying to tweet at CJGJ, who's defending A.J. Brown, and he's right. Bubba, no, not Bubby, MJ and all you moron podcasts, how the hell you morons have jobs. Seriously, you guys are idiots. But whatever. I'm the jackass because I see through the smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
I really hope this is a non-starter and nothing happens and New England burns for this. Nice 7-10 season.
I'm sticking to my initial belief and everything. I don't see how it makes sense for them to trade A.J. Brown. The only way that it makes any remote sense to me is if Philly figures out a way to get any of the top 3 receivers, Tate, Tyson, Lemon.
I only want Tate or Tyson. If it ain't Tate or Tyson, don't even talk to me.
Yeah, so that's the only way because, like you said, you can't roll into the season with Smith as your receiver 1, and then your receiver 2s are Marquise Brown and Dontavian Wicks. Those guys are nowhere near A.J. Brown level. They're not even near Devontae Smith level. They're on a Philadelphia Eagles team. They would be glorified 3 and 4 receivers. You'd probably throw Marquise Brown in the slot because of his speed and. But I just don't.
You could have even convinced me more if we re-signed Dotson.
Yeah,
You
it just doesn't make sense if that's their plan to trade him without getting any
I feel
top
like I'm taking
receiver.
crazy pills. I'm like, is everyone else in the league this stupid? Nate had someone say, Nate, you got something?
Nate's here. I know he's
He
here.
waved at me like 5 times from backstage. I don't know. When he comes back, he'll let me know. Nate waved to me again or put it in the chat when you're ready to go. All right. Yes, that's it. Me talking about Philadelphia. I just want to get that off my chest. Also,
I will say, I think it would be hilarious if Howie is doing this out of pettiness to like convince them that it'll happen after June, and then he just slams the phone like, "Nope, we're good." Or like, if I was him, and let's say he does want to trade AJ Brown, I would do everything in my power to send him somewhere else.
Unless we are getting Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, freaking Jamar Chase. Am I missing any other the top 5 receivers right now? I'm missing one.
Nah, I mean, it's not Tyreek Hill anymore.
No.
I would never.
JSN. JSN.
Yeah, that's not even.
If it's not those 4 names, I don't care who we get back. Unless you give me a guaranteed flyer that says we get Malachi Toney or Jeremiah Smith in the draft next year, I don't want to hear it. This is the stupidest effing argument I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that Eagles fans are going for this, I hope we go 6-10. And you morons are sitting there like, what happened? Where's your... Because you took a number 1 receiver and you traded him away for dollars. You idiots. This is why players leave Philadelphia, because of morons like you. I'm sick of this crap. I really am. I'm disgusted being an Eagles fan today. I really am. Twitter drove me nuts today.
For a small change of pace, but sticking on the same position, you know who is a receiver that is being heavily linked to potentially being involved in a trade-up situation? That is Brian Thomas Jr. with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who do not currently, to my knowledge, possess a first-round draft pick. And there's reports going around that he could be used to try and get back into the first round.
BTJ possibly to the Patriots?
No.
Matt, I love you. No. I want you to understand something. You want BTJ to the Patriots because BTJ is only going to give you maybe 900 yards and maybe 5-6 touchdowns a year. Maybe 10 touchdowns, maybe 1,000 yards occasionally. AJ Brown will decimate your secondary for years.
Yeah, I know, especially our secondary.
Nathan, what you got for me, brother?
Nothing. I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, buddy.
He's been doing that for 5 minutes now.
Can you find out how much dead cap AJ Brown's got if we keep him for 1 more year?
Yes, checking right now, sirs.
Because I feel like it's less than $8 million or it's 0.
So cap hit, basically, correct?
Yes, cap hit for the 2027 season.
For 2020, so not this upcoming season, but the next year.
This is basically if we say screw you, Rossini, screw you, Patriots, and keep him for 1 more year.
According to Spock Track, he carries a $23 million cap hit for 2026. So this upcoming year.
Which we knew.
Okay. Dead cap, according to Spot Track, is $76 million.
If total contract, or if we cut him in 2024 or 2027?
If you cut him now.
Yeah. So what happens if we cut him in a year? In 2027 or trade him?
It'd be down to $31 million in dead cap.
Which means if we cut it in half, whatever it is after June 1st, I think it goes down another percentage or whatever.
As the years go by, it does decrease. I apologize for the lack of knowledge here with this cap stuff.
No, you're good. It's a percentage basically after June 1st. It like when the new league year technically starts, or the new like salary year, whatever the hell they call it. That June 1st deadline becomes interesting because then it drops it from whatever is 23 million to like 16 or 8 or whatever it is. So I'm interested to see what his dead cap hit would be next year after June 1st, 2027. Because then at that point, listen, if we want to trade him, then fine. He'll be 31 years old or 30 years old as a receiver. If you really want to get rid of him, fine. But I think Philadelphia would be this. It would be the stupidest decision in franchise history, besides keeping Carson Wentz and getting rid of Nick Foles or Jalen Reagor to get rid of JJ Brown. But whatever. Let's listen to these morons on Twitter. I'm calling them all out. Philly Eagles, Fly Central, MJ Podcast, all you idiots. Just shut up. You are all morons. I usually love your takes, but you are all morons. Come at me. Seriously.
I have another draft, something I thought of. So
Yeah.
it doesn't involve any of our teams, but so I was thinking about the Rams pick at 13. I had an offensive lineman linked to them, but checking out the offensive line doesn't look terrible. It was pretty good last year, I'm pretty sure. But what about Kenyon Sadiq in LA? Because I'm not a Higbee guy. I've been calling for them to replace him for years now, and he's always hurt. Kenyon Sadiq, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams. That's actually an amazing offense. That could be what it takes to get them over that hump in the playoffs to get back to the Super Bowl.
I don't hate that. Even though I hate the Rams. So, like, don't do that.
Okay, wait. I got it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, if A.J. Brown is traded before June 1st of this year, the Eagles will have a dead cap of roughly $43.5 million towards the 2026 cap. A release will be even worse because it'd be $72 million. However, if traded after June 1st of this year,
16.
the Eagles will be left with $16.3 million in dead cap and $27 million in 2027. So $43 million total, but split against 2 years. If the Eagles keep him on the roster through the third day of the 2026 league year, only $4 million of his 2027 salary becomes additionally guaranteed. So after June 1st, the dead cap would be dramatically lower, likely in the range from 21 to 27 across future years, according to what I looked into.
Still, to me, makes no sense on keeping him and getting rid of him. But, whatever.
Don't trade or cut him. That's easy. There you go. Right, boss?
Yeah, it's almost like if you keep the receiver, you give him an OC who he likes, like Sean Mannion, and you just tell Diana Rossini and the Patriots to F off. Oh, my God. The Eagles might win another Super Bowl. I might be wearing a different one of these next year.
I mean, you still also got like 4 years of his prime, too. He's going to be 29 in June. You still got like. I
know. I'm like, what am I missing here?
It's not like he's, 33 like Mike Evans, and we're talking about he's towards the fourth quarter of his career. This guy is at halftime.
Morons. Absolute morons.
And I just really don't want him to go to the Patriots, so because I'll just lose my what. But hey, the Mets lost 12 games in a row for the first time since 2002, and the last
Here
time
we go
on the AFC East. So if I need a cheating scandal to do it, so be it. And maybe I don't know how I'm gonna get around Buffalo, but I'll let the gods figure that out. But yeah, we might be back. We're not, but we might.
That pisses me off. My Diamondbacks lost 2 out of 3 to the freaking White Sox.
The Phillies are on a 9.
Hey, same. Let's go, boss. A's lost 2 out of 3 too.
Yeah, but you guys are ass. We're number 5 in the power rankings. What the hell?
We're getting there.
We're working on a sweep with Boston, hopefully, but we did take 2 of the 3 at least, so we won the series regardless.
All right, you squares ready to talk some UFL before the draft kicks off? Because we're probably rolling out of here in about 10 minutes or so. So, UFL updates. We got standings updated there, boys.
Yeah, so I'm 9-3. You and Nate are tied for second at 8-4.
Text DJ for his picks, by the way.
Yeah, I'll text him. And DJ is he might as well quit. He's 5-7. We know how this goes, especially at the UFL. You got to be in it every week. Poor guy. That's baseball, Susan.
Imagine if we did baseball pick'em. Oh man.
No. Dude, I can't even do fantasy. It's too much.
No, it'd be cool, but like just one game every day, and screw it. See what you got. And then
it's too much, man.
I don't think I could keep track of that standings.
Fair enough.
You'd have to have like a clicker somewhere. Like you just click on the button if you won or lost the night before, and that's it. But all right, so UFL kicks off tomorrow. By the way, my UFL videos are back this week after my move last week. It was a little crazy. That's why I was also late today, because I'm still getting used to the whole having to commute to come do my podcast. I actually like the fact that I don't have to move my studio and I don't have to move any of this stuff. But dude, it is weird having to commute to do the show. So I'm gonna have to start setting my time up a little bit, and also setting up for the draft. That's what we're gonna do for next 20 minutes after the show's over. We're gonna make this quick. So Friday, Defenders, Stallions. Listen, I talked about this in the video. The Stallions are this most disappointing team in the league this year. They look terrible. They have such a loaded offense, but they can't close games. Give me the Defenders to win. It's going to be a lot closer. I think this is probably the best game. This is probably the second best game of the weekend right here.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm really impressed with Teamu just for the fact that every year so far, he just seems to be the same guy. A 53% completion guy. Doesn't improve, doesn't worsen. He's just consistent in being a standard passer. I don't know how he does it. But the defense is really good. The coaching is really good. So I'm going to take the Defenders here, mostly because, like you said, the Stallions got a great team on paper. They just can't finish. So I'm going to take the Defenders to take this one.
All right. Nathan.
I'll go with the Defenders for this one.
All right, moving on. Battlehawks Storm. This is the Jared Bowl. This is the two teams that are 1-2, 2-1 in my rankings. They're both pulling away in terms of the standings. And the 3 and 4 teams are actually playing each other on Sunday, the Kings and Renegades, which is kind of funny. But dude, I'd love to take the Battlehawks tonight. And if they pull off this upset, they are driver's seat for the rest of the season. I'm rooting for the Battlehawks. Do not get me wrong. I would love to see them win, but the Orlando Storm just looks so good on defense and on offense. There's no holes in this team. They look like they're well coached and everything's there. Luis Perez to the Battlehawks is an interesting mix-up, though.
That's big.
That is big. Luis Perez chucking rockets to our friend Hakeem Butler, and also
it may take him. Boo! It may take him some time to adjust to that offense, but that is going to be huge down the stretch.
I think this puts St. Louis. If gun to my head, the teams that make the playoffs today, it's DC, it's Orlando, it's St. Louis, and it's Dallas. I think the Kings, Aviators, Gamblers, and Stallions almost the playoffs. Obviously, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like Perez with the Battlehawks in the playoffs, that team can win the title. I think that's a real shot. Without Perez, they're done. They're a first round exit at best, and they're out. But I am more optimistic than.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Storm. Also, I'm riding the hot hand. They're probably the best team right now out there. It's just great coaching, just great everything. I love Perez for the Battlehawks, but I'm gonna ride this week out with the Storm and see how the Battlehawks do for next week.
Nice.
You said you're taking the Storm or the Battlehawks, Jared?
I'm taking the Storm, but I'm rooting for the Battlehawks.
All right. And then for DJ, he's taking Defenders and Battlehawks.
This is technically the first real test for the Storm, so Nate's taking the battle. Oh! Wait, so Matt, who'd you take? You took Storm?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Aviators and the Gamblers. I gotta go Aviators. I just trust their quarterback more. Dude, the Gamblers 1 week look like they're like the up and coming team in football, and then they just cannot figure it out the next 2 weeks in a row. Columbus consistently plays good football. They just have taken shots on the shins every single time. I gotta go Columbus here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll see how I do. It's like a small little inner feeling that's saying go for Houston. It could blow in my face, but I'm going to take the Gamblers, and I'm literally going to gamble on that pick.
Shot 100 acres. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, who are you taking?
Yeah. We'll probably catch him when he comes back, but DJ in the Aviators.
Okay. Last but not least, Kings and Renegades. Dude, I'd love for the Kings to pull off this upset. That'd be amazing. You want to talk about a team that's taking just a shit show the entire season? I think the Kings have lost every game by less than a touchdown. They are a fighting team. They're just taking rough shots. Dude, I got to give them some credit, man. They're a good team. They just took a bad L this year. Once the expansion happens, I think they'll be a little more towards the middle of the pack. But I'm going to go – I got to go, unfortunately, with the Renegades. I don't see them having back-to-back bad weeks on offense. I think it's too soon to like be like, oh, this guy's falling in Dallas. It's like, nah. That offense looked electric for the first 3 weeks of the season. So give me Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Renegades as well. The Storm or the Kings have been, I believe, back-to-back weeks of OT losses for them.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're sticking in the games, but they're having problems finishing. And so until they figure that one out, I'm going to take the Renegades on this one as well. DJ is also taking the Renegades, and then when Nate comes back, we'll find out who he's taking to round us out.
All right.
He put in the chat he's taking the Aviators, so we just got to wait for his last game pick.
All right. Let's talk about all right, Matt. Ideal scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you want? Jets, Dreams. All right, ideal pick and dream pick for the Jets.
Ideal pick to me is Arvel Reese. Yeah, our ideal pick for me at 2 is Arvel Reese because the Jets canceled their visit with David Bailey, and David Bailey did put on his Facebook story all 32 teams with their logos, and the only one that's blank is the Jets. I don't know if that's a sign of him just taking a shot at the Jets because they canceled his meeting, or if that's just a little way of him saying, messing with us that he is the pick. And I don't know. So I would actually prefer Bailey at 2 because he is one of the top edge rushers in this draft. And I think you can get a decent linebacker at 33 at whether it's, I don't know if CJ Allen slips, probably not, but you could probably get Jacob Rodriguez or something like that at 33. So I'd say ideal pick at 2 is Reese. I would want Bailey because it makes more sense. I'm not going to be upset at all with either. And then at 16, I want a receiver. That's my dream pick, I guess you could say. What I wouldn't be surprised with would be if we went Ion Alavega as a guard at 16. But for 16, I'd like best receiver available, whether that's Tyson, Lemon. I think Cooper at 16 is a little bit of a reach. I think that's something you could trade back into maybe with the Cowboys to 20 maybe, but I won't be upset. So, ideal pick would be Reese and a receiver at 16. But dream would be, I guess, Bailey and Tyson or Lemon at 16. And then Nate, who do you have for the last game? It was Renegades and
Kings.
Give me the Renegades.
Okay, so we rounded out the UFL.
All right, my ideal scenario: Eagles take a safety at 23. They grab a kid either out of Toledo or the kid out of Oregon because Caleb Downs will not be there at 23. The pick I would love to trade up for either Downs, Sadiq, or Bain. I think all 3 would be a game changer in Philadelphia. Nothing would make me happier though, just to watch like something come out like the Eagles are like going to stand pat on AJ Brown because they've been saying it all season, and then this rumors die. I don't know, or the Patriots take a receiver first round and just ices the rumors. But I hate NFL media. Anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Since we only have 1 pick, so yeah, either Bain, or hey, listen, or we sit back and take Mesidor. I'm okay with that too. He doesn't have to be an every down player for us. And unlike most teams, we don't have a turf field. Ours is grass. Guys don't get hurt on our field. So
must be nice.
Would love Mesidor at 23 if it was the last one there. But all right, Nate, ideal for Giants at 5 and 10.
Yay! Isn't it great to have 2 top 10 picks? We suck. Anyways, look, me and Brian went over our final thoughts for our Giants today.
Shameless plug.
Yes, sir. Very excited to see what we do, of course. But I think for me, ideally we go with Styles at 5 and Downs at 10. I know everyone says that all the time, but it's true. With Dexter Lawrence gone now, we do need to add more defensive pieces, especially in the secondary because my God, we suck. But I think Downs would be an excellent game changer for us at the safety position. Can play also in the box or in the slot or on the back end as well, so that'd be nice too. With Styles, we know how athletic of a guy he is. So we saw at the combine, and we do need some linebacker help because we got Tremaine Edmonds, which is fantastic. I love that. But next to him, yeah, I'm not trusting Micah McFadden or Darius Muasau to be next to him. So Styles will definitely come and be a day one guy. If we don't get one or the other, Mansour Delane is another guy I mocked as well to us. Shut down corner because, again, we have no corners. Let's be honest, because I'm not trusting Deonte Banks to cover A.J. Brown for another year. Sorry, I'm not doing that. Or if we go offense, I think there was a rumor that got released about an hour ago saying that if he's available at 10, the Giants will take Jordan Tyson if he's still there. Wouldn't mind that either.
He should be.
Because
he should be.
He should be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see him going any earlier than 11. I had him going at 11. So, listen, like you guys might get him.
Yeah.
Who is like a player in this draft? Because it happens every year. Who is like the one person that you think gets taken before the best player at their position? So, like example, Caleb Downs is the best safety in this draft. Wouldn't be surprised if because of his injuries that somebody early.
Oh, that's who it is. It's Caleb Downs. I think the kid out of Oregon, whose name I cannot pronounce,
Thieneman,
is going to get picked first. What?
Is it Thieneman?
Yeah, Thieneman. I think Thieneman goes before Downs. I think Thieneman goes like 15 to the 12 to the Cowboys, and Downs falls all the way to the 20s. I think that will happen.
So I'm going to put this out there because this is very much a Miami thing. When they took Waddle over CeeDee Lamb, I think it was that draft. What if they go
two separate drafts? The Tua draft they took CD. Waddle they took before Devontae, but after Jamar Chase.
Okay. Anyways, I think you can make the argument. I think Devonta Smith he's healthier, and that's big.
And just a better receiver.
So I could see. I would not be shocked because it's a Miami thing if they went like Omar Cooper over like Tyson or Lemon, even though it's there's just always somebody that gets drafted early. And so I don't know. There's going to be some team that's going to jump the gun, like when the Vikings traded up for McCarthy. I could see Cooper sliding up.
I genuinely am looking forward to just watching one of these teams just royally screw it up and for once it not be us.
I think Cleveland's going to mess something up at 6. Not to interrupt you, boss. I'll let you go first.
My God. Cleveland takes – guys, I got it. They're going to take Ty Simpson at 6.
Oh, my God.
I was thinking they take I think this is a name you guys both mentioned in your mock drafts on Monday. But Monroe Freeling is a guy they might reach out on. I was doing my final mock draft with Brian today.
I have him going in like the 20s.
I know. But
it's the most Cleveland thing to do, right? Like Matt, like
you could go Maunoa or Maunoa, and I could see
that. They're gonna say, he just has a defined position, so we shouldn't take him. Like I'm waiting for them to make up some excuse why they don't draft Maunoa. I think
they may be concerned about Loki.
I was explaining to Miss Katie before I left. I was talking about like who's going to be the guy who drops in the draft, and I said, "Baby, if you want my honest to God opinion, it's either going to be Downs or Bain. I think Bain's going to drop because
I could see a team like you said is panicking because of the Bain story, and they can go Falk or Parker over him, and he could
that's how I feel. I think if I could see Bain falling as far as 18, 19. Listen, if Bain gets below 15, Philadelphia will snag him. I'm just going to warn you right now. He's a motor guy, and Vic Fangio sees a guy like Ruben Bain and just faints. That guy's a game runner.
If the Jets were to go Risa 2 and Bain slipped to 16, I would be preaching. Please just go double up on the defense. Take Reese for linebacker, Bain for the edge rusher, and then go take Chris Brazzell at 33.
You can only hope, right? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Belly Up's coverage of the NFL draft kicks off in about 20 minutes. I'm going to get the studio ready. These boys are going to take a breather. I might wait until my first break's over to go cook dinner. Other than that, gents, have an amazing draft experience. Remember, round 1's tonight, 2 and 3 tomorrow, 4 through 7 on Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Good NBA action tonight. By the way, the director of officiating for the NBA is a Thunder fan. Found that out today. I showed my girl who hates the Thunder just as much as I do. God, I love her. Yeah, rigged. No, it is totally rigged. I am so convinced the NBA is rigged now. Like, you cannot tell me otherwise it's not. Also, by the way, Lou Dort should be on war crimes for what he does on defense. But anyway, and also Caruso's a weenie. That being said, folks, have a great NFL draft. DJ and Kelsey are going to kick it off in about 20 minutes on the Belly Up YouTube channel. Go check it out. It'll be on we'll reshare it on our Twitter and everything else. Mal will be on that. And Facebook and everything else. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great week. NFL draft coverage begins in about 20 minutes. Enjoy yourselves. Get ready. Crack a beer. We're going to be here all night. I'll be there until at least the Eagles pick, and then I'm probably going home. I told DJ 25 is the latest I can do. I can't do these round pick 32 anymore. I'd pass out. I was so tired last night. I went to bed at 9:45.
Yeah. Yep. I was in bed at that same time.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.